Not yet on YouTube.
We are live on Periscope, Atul,
But
from
not on
Geekians.
YouTube. Not on YouTube yet.
Hmm.
So we have 3 viewers.
We have 3 viewers. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. I think we are doing it for the first time, so we might goof up a bit. We have not used Restream before, but anyway, let's give it a shot.
It's 3 of us, I guess. Oh, there is 4th one.
I don't think so, but yeah. Okay, so let's wait for a while before a few more people join in, and then we can try it out.
Shall we not wait for YouTube to go live?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening on YouTube. Let's see what's happening on the private chat side. YouTube is not working for some reason. I think let's do it, Atul. Let's do it only for this thing. Only for Twitter, we can go ahead and do it. Let's just quickly check the chat. All right. Okay. Before we go live, I think I'll just share it from my Twitter handle, and then we can start talking. Okay. So Shankadeep says hi.
I think we are live on YouTube as well now.
You're live on YouTube? I don't see it yet.
But I see Shankadeep saying hi, and it says it has some YouTube thumbnail.
Okay. So I think, yeah, let's. Okay. Let me just reshare this, retweet this from my handle, and then we can go ahead. Atul,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so tweet sent, and yes. Right. Great. Okay. So we have a lot of viewers here. Hello. This is the first time we are doing a session like this. I'm Sanket, CEO and founder here at Geeky Ants, and we have Atul.
So hello everyone. So I mean, we are going live for the first time and doing a session like this, which is going to benefit a lot of aspirants, those who want to work in React and related fields. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and
yeah. I think we should talk about the problem first, Atul. Like, why are we doing this? Like, we have been doing like meetups and conferences. We have been contributing to the React ecosystem, and now we are a company of like 300 people, right? So why are we doing this? Like the title says secrets to uh, cracking React interviews, right? So let's talk about that.
so the problem that we are currently facing is with the rising demand of React developers for the projects that we get, and the problem the problem is not with the rising demand, but the problem is with the fulfilling the demands for the appropriate candidates for the roles. And we are, to be honest, we are little struggling on the recruitment front as well, where we are failing to get more better suited candidates to be onboarded into the team.
So when we say like better, I think we have a lot of people who are trying for it. Okay, but and also on the other side we have a lot of companies that's looking for developers in these roles. But there is a bit of gap, I would say, like matching the requirement versus matching the people who are trying to enter this. There's a bit of gap, and we are trying to solve that. We are trying to bridge that gap. So let's talk about like colleges for a while. Like, do you think like colleges are good enough, or where do they lack? Or when a candidate tries to enter this world of say JavaScript or full stack development, where do you think the gap is?
So, as far as the colleges are concerned, we have been seeing a lot of improvements from few of the colleges where we, I mean, recruit from, and they are starting to, I mean, acknowledge that JavaScript is now a big thing, and they have acknowledged this stuff, and then they are organizing various what do you say? I mean, programs where they train candidates for not just for Java, I mean JavaScript, but they also make them understand the underlying concepts uh, that, I mean, a company like us needs in the candidates. But there is still some gap, I would say, which we need to fill somehow, and we have been trying to solve this problem sessions that we have been doing with these colleges. And one of the ideas that we received from, I mean, one of the colleges where we recruit from is to set up I mean, center of excellence for them, where we could give them a proper guidance how we can how the candidates can come up with I mean, how the colleges can come up with better programs for these candidates, these aspiring candidates. And what we are, I mean, looking to do is to open the similar program for the public, and for them to benefit from these kind of programs that we would be, I mean, suggesting on continuous basis.
Hmm. So the problem is not because of the lack of resources on the internet. It's more of like the path or mentorship, I would say. Like people,
Exactly.
yeah, like there are like really great people with good IQs, but there is another set of skills that is required. So there is a gap in that learning, or like how to do it, because everybody knows like about the JavaScript ecosystem or the path, like it can go really haywire. And to solve that, I think the only thing that anyone should do is to go ahead and build things. So go ahead and build what you want, or anything, or maybe clone apps. Just if you like to build or design interfaces, go ahead and just clone one of the websites and put it on your resume. Or anything like even more technical, not just design but even like full stack development. Like say we use WhatsApp every day, so it would be really cool, and it would also be motivating for someone to build something like WhatsApp on their own. uh, and the resources are enough. Like if we Google how to build say a chat app, so we can find it. If we Google how to build a screen like WhatsApp in React Native, we can do it. But I think people, or the freshers or these candidates, they get really confused in the number of options that we have. Okay, which path to take? And the place there they lack is more of uh, on the like high level understanding of how these things are connected. Like where does UI get rendered, and how does that talk to the underlying layer, and how does that go to the network layer, and having a hands-on experience with that.
Yeah,
Do you relate to
rightly
that,
said. I mean,
Atul? Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, you, I mean, rightly said. We have enough resources available on the internet where people can learn from. What we need is more of mentors to be coming up and then willing to mentor such candidates about what path to take to solve a problem, maybe not just path to take, how to, I mean, crack interviews. So we have this I mean, topic that how secrets to cracking React interviews, but actually there is not much secret underlying. It is, uh, I mean, the underlying concepts needs to be learned more than just the syntax part, which people have been doing, and we need more mentors who could guide such candidates towards the similar path.
Hmm. So what are we doing about it, Atul? Like when we say like we want to mentor, you want to mentor people and level them up into this particular thing. So what are the like different approaches that we can think of?
So yeah, initially we were thinking of, I mean, putting our training material, training content that we have internally at Geeky and open for public. But we thought, as you also told, that we have a lot of resources already available on the internet, so that might not be of, uh, I mean, that not might as much add as much value that we think of, but uh, like other than just opening the resources for the public, we want to mentor candidates and then show them the actual paths that we find missing when we interview various candidates. So one of such initiatives would be a live session like this we can do, and then we
Hmm.
can take questions from candidates here watching live, and then mm, and giving them give suggestions around those lines.
Hmm. Right. And also, I think we should properly categorize people into different buckets, and like there is no one rule for all, right? It's like we need
Definitely.
to understand like what's the correct, like what's the gap, and like there are few people who are like really great at uh, like coding in other languages, but when it comes to say css or anything on the ui side, they go wrong. So we can have one batch only for that type of people, and then there could be someone who's just started, maybe has entered from a different stream altogether, so that's going to be a different category, right? So we need to think about like different demographics or different categories, and then probably have um, a path like how to start, like the way we have it at geekians. We have like it starts from how internet works, and then goes from there to basics of like how to do hello world in html, and then add some javascript, like really basic javascript, like on click on a button, and then doing it inline and doing it inside the script tag, and then add event listener, and then it evolves from there. Like we have like 3 to 4 weeks of program that is just plain html css and javascript without any framework on top of it. And I think that basic level of understanding and understanding how things work inside, that is way more important. And uh, and it is weird that the community and entire ecosystem is going really like, okay, react is hot and we should do it, but we are missing something really basic, and that is what happens with most of the candidates that we come across.
Right, and maybe we should also, I mean, as we were talking about opening the training material for public, we should also put some curated content where uh, we can maybe, uh, I mean, write down all the various underlying concepts that a problem might need, and then I think that is what is missing on the internet. I mean, which is very distributed here and there. We probably need to accumulate all such resources and then put it at one place.
Hmm.
That might also help few people.
Right. And keeping the motivation high by building stuff, and then sharing what people are building, like in a more of a community way rather than a competitive way. I think that would make more sense. Like the way we learned when we were when we started doing a lot of javascript, I think it was more of like we didn't want to get paid, right? We just loved to build things and then see something on the screen and then get people to use it and solve a real problem. I think more than solving a real problem, it was more of like our curiosity to build something that shows up on the screen and then drive the interface with some code, right? So that was pretty interesting. I think that is also a motivating factor for a lot of people. So keeping that in mind, that I want to learn React for jobs, it's not good. It's not at all good. I think that is also an irony to this title of the stream, that don't learn things to get job, but learn things that like gets you excited. And I know it's been said by a lot of people, and it, like, in the end, it's more of like, okay, it's a lot of philosophy around it, but I think that gets you there. If you like building things, then JavaScript and React are just tools, right?
Right. I mean, also another thing that we have found missing in people is they they just go behind learning syntaxes and not focus on the core concepts and core problem that they are solving. There could be multiple ways of solving one single problem, but taking just one direction and then learning ins and outs of that direction doesn't make it uh, scalable. The knowledge is not very scalable. Say we have been seeing a lot of work in the JavaScript community, and it's fast changing. Tomorrow we might not have React, but there will be problem solving required.
Correct.
Also, one more thing I wanted to add here is, while interviewing, we find that people say we have worked on a lot of things here and there, we have worked on this, we have worked on that, but what makes an interviewer excited is by seeing what they have actually built. If the demo of what they have built is ready, is handy with them, that that makes the interviewer I mean interview process also interesting. And interviewer doesn't go into what we call interview fatigue, and then uh, asks relevant questions and understands various other concepts that they might have learned during what they have built. So I would
Hmm.
suggest all the candidates, aspiring candidates, to keep their demo ready whenever they are going for an interview. These days we are having an interview mostly over Meet or maybe say Zoom. So there is a chance of sharing your screen and then giving a proper demo walkthrough of the application that you have built.
Yeah.
That adds a lot of impression.
Right. So it's more like showing your work. Let your work network for you.
Correct.
Okay. Great. So I think the first thing is learning not for the job. Second, having like real projects, go ahead and build things. And then third would be ready with the demo link, or put it live somewhere and share that link in the resume or during the interview process itself, rather than just talking paragraphs and paragraphs about what you have built and what's the theory behind it or what's the architecture like. So yeah, so more of hands-on learning is what companies look for. Hmm. So Atul, another question. What's your take on the companies that are looking for, like, okay, I need candidates with like 5 years of React experience or 6 years of React experience?
Frankly speaking, I fail to understand what they are actually looking at when they say they need 6 years of experience. Uh, I mean, we have seen a lot of people, those who are very new to the, uh, I mean, what do you say, JavaScript world, but they know a lot of different concepts, and I wouldn't compare them with anyone else, but they are pretty good in the field. Uh, Someone might not show their experience. uh, what we have in industry is people show their experience in the uh, actual jobs that they get. So someone might be doing a lot of experiments during their college days, during their school days, and might be very efficient with technology, but but the total amount of job experience that they have is just for maybe say 6 months. So I would like to work where we can showcase where these numbers of years of experience is of little value. Definitely, it adds value. It adds exposure, but that shouldn't be the uh, first criteria to actually look at a candidate.
Hmm. So experience is definitely good and it adds a lot of things. So, but we should also have some credibility around the unofficial experience that people can do before getting into a corporate world or things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that can happen. Yeah.
you started coding when you were 13,
Yeah, around
even
that you
before
can say.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, I mean, the amount of experience that you have, I mean, it's not something which can be, I mean, achieved. I mean, which can be, what do you say, achieved in the actual official experience that you can share.
Hmm. That's right. Great. I think, yeah. So what's the next step? What do you think we should do as the next? We're trying to like get people sign up right now who are interested in something like this, so that we can reach back to people, understand the problem, and then try to work towards that, and maybe level up people, add their skills. Correct.
Right. So
Yeah.
like as you said earlier, we are looking to create different uh, batches for different levels of candidates. So
Hmm.
probably we'll have a little bit of evaluation around where we can understand where people, where people are at the moment, and then uh, categorize different groups, and then do similar sessions to begin with.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I think probably after this stream, we can go ahead and send a form or something, and then let people join that, and let's start from there.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Hmm. Anything else you want to add, Atul?
Shall we? I mean, I don't think so. We have much audience here, so
Hmm.
we take questions from them.
Let's see. I'm not sure if we have like a lot of people, because this was a very unplanned sort of thing,
Hmm.
but let's see if we have people who have questions, because we didn't write anything about this stream anywhere before doing it,
Hmm.
but let's see.
Maybe after we. Okay,
Okay.
there's someone saying hi, but
Okay, so we have few people. I think Abhinav Jamwal says hi. We have Shweta saying hello. We have Aditya. Aditya, I have been interacting with Aditya quite a lot on Twitter lately. We have Praneeth as well. Hi, Praneeth. We have Raja and Shanko, obviously. Nice to see you all, or receive a text. Go ahead and throw your questions if you have any. So meanwhile, Atul, we have I think a lot of requirements at Geeky Ants, right? Okay, we have a question from Prashant. He says, "Okay, I think the idea behind 5 years of experience is that they have dealt with scale and understand architecture for a React app." Yes, I agree to that, Prashant. I think uh, when they say 5 years of experience, it's more of uh, like dealing with real projects and exposing themselves on like with a team and scaling things around that. Correct. I agree.
so
And
yeah.
also the architecture. Yeah. Go ahead, Atul. Hmm.
So instead of, I mean, in the job description, probably instead of writing 5 years of experience, we can write all those various granular points that we are expecting from a candidate.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. But I think yeah, instead of writing 5 years, it makes more sense that the candidate should have worked with large scale application or understands the architecture of React app, because every React app has a different architecture, right?
Mhm.
If you use Redux, if you use MST or GraphQL, so all these things are like in different categories. Okay, we have another question. So it's from Abhinav. I'm a fresher, recently got a job in a startup. We are working on Share Triflex, whose front end is written in React Redux Thunks. And according to you, it is good as a fresher to work on such technology? Atul, what do you think?
Oh, I missed the question. Let me just go through it again.
So technology like React, Redux, and Thunks, is that something that a fresher should work on?
Definitely, but as you were saying, technology is one aspect. The underlying concepts are the another, which actually solves the problem. So work on the technology, but I have this phrase from Sanket every time he says in our company, don't marry a technology, marry the I mean, don't marry a what do you say, syntax of the technology. Try to solve the problems, and it can be solved with various other technologies as well. So
Yeah.
understand how to solve a problem, not just focus on the technology.
I
So
think
to
this
begin
usually
with,
comes,
yeah.
yeah, this usually comes when people fight on different tech stacks. No, Redux is better than Mobux State Tree, or say Flutter is better than React. So to, and this boils down to something like religion. Like all the religions are good, all the tech stacks are good. There are underlying choices that's made for you. It's for us to understand what are those choices that we are opting for when we are using a technology, rather than fight or stand with. So any question in tech, the answer is it depends. uh, and for any fresher, I think any sort of experience with building anything on the React side or any particular technology is good enough if you're as far as you're building anything and it's you can see that. So I think that's the bottom line. Just build something, get an idea of like how Redux works or what are different decisions that's made for you, and compare it with other opinions as well. Say if you're using something like a functional programming, so go and just check out like what is object-oriented programming and how and why do we use functional programming at all, right? Hmm. So we have more questions. Another question from Shubham: how much JS one should know as a fresher to crack React interview? Atul?
So as we were talking about, that people must know the underlying concept. React is a syntax that is solving a problem which is actually being solved by JavaScript. So uh, to begin with, knowing just the syntax is good, but I think you should be familiar with I mean, simple concepts like how uh, a call stack works, how event bubbling works, and these concepts on JavaScript is very important. Uh, even if it is just React or Angular, whatever it is. So I would say you should be aware of these, simple concepts.
So at Geekians, we first take the candidate from like basic how internet works to basic HTML, CSS, and then we build to do apps in different stacks. We start with like to do app using backend tech like Node, Express, and Mongo, and then we go ahead and do the same thing on the front end layer inside JavaScript. We call it uh, using MVC pattern. We build a to do app on the front end itself, and then we wire it up with API calls on the node. If you do these three things, I think a lot of basic understanding of how things usually work in a front end or a full stack app, that uh, gets a lot clearer. I think building a backend first app to do app, and then building a front end only React app to do app, and then building a React app that talks to a backend and uh, like saves and fetches using a JSON API. If we do these three things, I think we get a lot of exposure uh, around how things work internally and what is the architecture like. Beyond that, you choose whatever you want to do. Atul, is that
So
something that you recommend?
absolutely correct. Yep, absolutely.
Hmm. And then after that, probably we can change the front end JS layer from like native JavaScript to React, just to see how much code it saves.
Right. See what
Hmm.
I mean, you need to understand what problem React solves. So for that to, I mean, for you to understand that, you need to know how JavaScript works,
Hmm. Okay, we
right?
have another question. Some companies ask whether I know backend even if I apply for front end jobs. I know very basic. Should I say that I know?
You should say, I know very basic. That's all.
Yeah. Share what you know. Be very transparent about what you know and what you don't know. But I think these days it's very important for anyone to have an understanding of how the full stack system ecosystem works. So it's not that I choose just front end, I choose only back end. I think a basic understanding or a full stack understanding of the entire ecosystem would would take anybody like really long way.
Yeah. So for example, Next.js. So if you code in Next.js, that is mostly front end coding, but you need to understand how things are being rendered from the backend to understand uh, the actual problem that Next.js is solving. So Sanket rightly said that we need to have an understanding of the full stack. Uh, I mean, be it just the front end or back end, but we need to have an understanding how things are working on the back end platforms as well as the front end.
Hmm. Right. Atul, Abhinav has a follow-up question like working on an existing project and modifying as per the client needs versus building it from scratch. So he's a little worried that he's just improving the existing system, I believe.
Mhm.
Uh, so what are the tips for Abhinav?
So depends upon how huge the current system is. It can be rewritten in different, I mean, various chunks. Maybe uh, simple parts we can bring out, and then uh, maybe we can break that into different chunks and then start rewriting the parts that needs a lot of improvements.
Hmm. No, but I think the basic question is more of like learning something from scratch and building something from scratch versus improving something when you are on job. So I think
All right. So is
some,
it is
yeah,
it? Uh, I think I understood the question wrong. Oh, you can go ahead, Sanket.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like as a developer, one should have an end-to-end understanding of things, and when the on-job experience is not giving you the full-fledged knowledge, who is stopping you to build a full stack project? Go ahead and do it as a side project. And I know it boils down to something like work life balance. Like I'm giving 40 hours every week at my job, why should I invest more time? So that's your personal choice, but I think it's very important, at least in the beginning of the career, that go ahead and do more of like these things, more of like exploration and experimentation on the side apart from your current job. So we say we have a word for this like corporate pipeline. So don't be just one piece in that corporate pipeline. Just when you are starting off, you should gain as much as experience as possible. And that's why people say that join a startup and not a big company. Otherwise you'll be lost in like and doing just one part in the entire series. And if your like day job is like stopping you into some specific say area of the entire ecosystem, say, then you can probably do it off your office hours and then start doing things more than just that, right? Okay,
Right.
Atul, we have another question. Any suggestions to conduct design round interviews?
I think you would be better suited to answer this question.
Okay, just to give a little background, I designed the geekyans.com main landing page, and I have a little knack for designs. uh, so I think design, again, work speaks. So you can ask for portfolio or maybe ask them to design something real quick, see how they are using the concepts of UX, choosing the colors, and most importantly, people fail to do like basic alignment and font sizes and what's suited for a mobile device or a web platform. So check those things. People go wrong at like really basic things of like adding correct margin padding and making sure that the symmetry is followed, those things.
But one more thing I want to add here is, I mean, before the days of pandemic, actually we used to conduct offline interviews more. And these days, I mean, we are bound to have online interviews, and tools like Meet or Zoom gives us option to record those interviews and then reiterate on those interviews once they finish, and then check on various details, what steps they are taking to design a certain screen or a certain component, look at their maybe typing speed and things like that. So it gives us opportunity to uh, reiterate and go back and check things, how they are working on it. And
Hmm.
that's where the solution that we are working on, the Top Geek, that helps us a lot.
Hmm. Cool.
And offline interviews, what we used to do is, like, we used to give them problems and then go and attend different stand-ups and meetings, and then come back and check how much they have done. Here we have option to just give them the link for the interviews and then recheck the videos later whenever we have time.
Hmm. I think
Maybe that helps.
remote interviews are working really well compared to the offline interviews, because anything remote, it gets documented either in the form of video or text chat or something like that, and that's helping a lot. And that's the idea behind the platform that we are trying to build, to get everyone on that and then build a community around it, so that people help each other and learn from each other, and also maybe look at jobs and connect to companies and whatnot. Anyway, I think we'll talk more about that in a separate stream. But yeah, that's a little sneak peek. Huh. Moving on. Do you guys hire freshers? Yes, a lot. That's the question coming from Samad Khan. Uh, we are a young company. The average age of 320 people at Geekians would be 25 or 24, something
Yeah,
like that. So yes, we hire freshers. We are a young company. Hmm. Another question also, how much UI matters when showing the React projects? Like, should I work more on features or work on UI to look attractive? That reminds me of a quote, Atul.
which one?
uh, I read it somewhere. I'm not sure, one of the founders shared this, that for the end users, the UI is the product, and that's the same with evaluators as well. And that's the first impression that you're making. If you build an ugly looking React project, even with like a really beautiful code and well formatted things and using a very structured pattern in your React project, you won't make that first impression. So I think it's very important to make your React apps look beautiful, or demo apps that you put in the projects or resumes. Atul, what do you think?
I second your thought. No
Hmm.
second comment on that. I love
Yeah, because
beautiful UIs. Yeah,
yeah. Hmm. Because React is ultimately a front end toolkit, right? And
correct.
and it's also an expectation for React developers to build beautiful user interfaces. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, great. So Shubham, go ahead and make sure you brush up on your UI and the creative side. And I would recommend reading the book or following these great people like Adam Wathan and Steve from the Tailwind team. So they have like really great tips on how to make your app look beautiful. Okay, next question is from Vaibhav. As a fresher, do you think it's best to work at a small company with tech you know already, or work in the company you got placed in the campus placement where they train you in other tech? Because most go with the second route.
Depends upon the interests, where the interest lies.
Yeah, I think that's very
But
important.
if my opinion is to be considered, work at a small. I mean, Sanket was talking about it a while ago. Work at a small company to get a lot of exposure.
Something
exposure
that
to
gives more exposure.
various
Yeah.
verticals. Yeah,
Hmm. Great. Good stuff. I think we missed one question which went out of the stream. But anyway, great. I think we're going to drop a link after this stream on different channels. So uh, go ahead and sign up for that so that we can reach out to you guys. We have different. We are going to use some one of the community tools to stay in touch. Maybe Discord or something, so that we can talk and then help you guys. And we are going to work on the planning of like how we want to level up people, not just with sharing the resources that we use internally at Geekians, but more of like what's missing and how to close the gap between the candidates and the industry, something like that. Yeah, Atul?
yeah,
So any if you have any more questions, probably drop in the chat and we can answer that. Let's take a couple of minutes, Atul, before we end this. If we don't get any more questions, we can end this.
sure.
Okay. We have a
What
question
do you
from
mean by
Lalit.
a mastered attack?
Have you ever seen, Atul, anyone who has ever mastered a tech?
No, never.
So there is no master. I think the learning process never ends, right? And I have been using JavaScript for like 20 years now. That should people would recalculate my age from that, but yeah. But yeah, I've been using JavaScript for a really long time and I still every day stumble upon new things in JavaScript, in React, and all those great things that people are doing it. So there's nothing like master of a tech or mastered a technology. So Abhinav is
The
asking where can
curiosity
I.
ends.
Yeah.
Curiosity ends there where people think they have mastered something, right?
Hmm.
Curiosity and
But
the scope
yeah.
of creativity, scope of improvements.
But I think there is also like I'm pretty confident that I can pick any technology and learn and then deliver in that. So if you call that as master of a tech, then yeah, you can say that. But I think that is applicable to any technology. We can just go ahead and learn anything, and then we can because we understand how things work internally, right? And whenever we pick a particular technology, we try to like understand how it's built and what are the like opinions and decisions that's made for us, right? Okay, so Abhinav is asking where can he get the link. So you'll get it on Twitter and also on LinkedIn. We'll post the link on these platforms. Okay, Vinay has a question. So go ahead and ask questions if there are any. Otherwise, I think we'll end it in another 5 minutes. Vinay has a question. Any suggestion for people coming into tech industry by boot camps at a very late age?
Age
Atul?
is no barrier.
Hmm.
Age is no
That's right.
barrier for
Yeah.
learning.
My dad is 64 and he started learning Flutter just last year. And so, yeah, that's the answer, I guess. So,
Contribution
no,
matters.
no question. Yeah, just go ahead and start doing things. And the industry is full of like examples and inspirations who have started late and then they've shined late. That's totally fine. Okay. So drop in your questions if you have any. Lalit has another question. Atul, you want to take that?
So, from your JS experience, which concepts will you consider advanced? Uh, I mean, everything is advanced when you think it is not basic, but all the concepts start from the basic concepts and underlying. I mean, actually, whatever is advanced follows underlying basic principles, basic concepts. So something like, uh, say, how call stack works. People find it very advanced, but is actually the core of how JavaScript is executed, right? So I mean, that's what any concept which you think might help. I I'm not sure how to exactly code that, but all the
Yeah,
concepts are important, and it might help you solve problems in some or the other way.
correct. Even I get really confused when people talk about, okay, this is the basic thing, this is the advanced thing. I think just learn something, like try to build things, and then whatever comes on the way, uh, just learn that. So if you are building, say, as your first project, if you're building something like a chat app, so sockets become like an important thing for you to build that, right?
Right.
So
So
it revolves around what you want to build at the end of the day.
every concept is actually solving some sort of problems, and
Hmm.
to understand how a problem, I mean, is solved, there could be various ways that we can follow. Uh, I mean, before hooks were introduced in React, there were other, uh, I mean, other concepts that we followed for solving a problem. Now, hooks is solving a problem in some different way, but as React suggests uh, on their docs, that advanced React concepts and hooks is part of that. But that is advanced because it is solving some problem, some basic problem which was already solved in some other different way, right?
Hmm. Correct. Okay. So Shiva Teja is asking, are there any openings in Geekians? We have 115 openings right now. Okay.
And we are struggling to find
Yeah.
candidates, good
And
candidates
that's
for that.
that's why
That's
we are doing this. Yeah. We have the opening of like until 50 fresher entry level developers.
correct.
Yeah, and then about 50 of them are like this thing, experienced and other streams, right?
Right.
Okay. So go ahead and apply if you know JavaScript. If you want to learn JavaScript, this is the channel, this is the group and community that we are trying to level up. Okay. I find it a little hard to learn backend, not sure where to start actually. Any suggestion on that, Atul?
Uh, Start on, okay, to learn concepts. Maybe we can see how actually uh, maybe PHP, uh, which people underrate a lot. PHP actually uh, starts with something, the problem that backend solves, and maybe uh, after PHP we can then go and jump on Node.js maybe.
Yeah, I think Node is a good starting point for people, because PHP would be another language for people to learn, I guess. Uh,
Maybe, yeah,
so
correct.
anything basic, maybe just take in a request and then write it somewhere. It's not mandatory that you write it to a database if that's complicated. Just add it in a file, and then read that file and show it on the screen. That is a database. If you understand this concept, then beyond that everything can be in different layers. Like instead of file, you can use a database. Instead of Node, you can use PHP or Ruby on Rails or whatnot. And on the front end, it can be made from the JS layer, maybe straight away from HTTP request, or maybe via an API call that's made from your JavaScript app.
Or even before jumping on to a technology stack, maybe first we can understand how request and response works. That gives a lot of insight into why there is a backend, why there is a front end. So that might be a good starting point.
Yeah, great. Next question.
We have another from Lalit. In tech world, getting things done is important, or being confident in code is important. Shipping
So
wins.
yeah, yeah, I think shipping matters a lot. So we usually do it, Atul, right? We build things in like as the first draft, and then ship it, and then come back and reiterate and improve it. And we have this posters in Geekians which says done is better than perfect, and uh, move fast and break things, and that's from Facebook.
Right.
So yeah, I think building, understanding the architecture, understanding different layers is important. And do the first draft to keep the motivation high, and then come back and detail it down, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, those watching, if you have questions, go ahead and type your questions in the comment section. We'll try to answer them.
We have another question from Yogesh Yadav. How to retain everything in mind during interview? Who's new to the space?
Interesting question. Not to retain, I think if you build enough number of projects as like your side project or maybe anything, like, so you wouldn't have to retain those things. Those things will be there.
Those things will be experience.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it wouldn't be like you are trying to recall something during that interview, because experiences add like, it imprints in your head, right? You don't really need to like recall things. So build more things, and the experience that you gain, that will help you retain everything during the interview. Great.
Exactly.
Hmm.
All right.
Atul, I
I
think we
think
should
yeah, we
also
should.
share the link here. I'm not sure how to share the link over here, but there is, just a second, let me try if I can share the link. Okay, so we can get in touch after this. Yes, Lalit, we can have these sessions more frequently for sure. Okay, if you have a question, drop in your question in the chat section, and we're going to take the question and answer it here. Meanwhile, we would love to connect with you all. So go ahead and, okay, I think I can share it here. Just a second. So let's see if we can share it. I hope
Yeah. Let's share.
it's
It's
shared.
coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the link learn.thetopgeek.com. Go ahead and sign up on this. And we are also on Discord. So once you click on this link, you'll find two things. One is wherein you can drop your email address to subscribe to this. And then second, join on our Discord channel and we can chat after this. Yeah, Sake says, hello team, congrats on setting up an office in California. Thank you so much, Sake. We are Geekians INC over there in the US. So pretty excited about it. Great.
All
Okay, so
right.
link is shared. Go ahead and join on Discord. Let me just quickly see if Discord works there. If anyone of you have joined over there, just to double check if things are working. Okay, I see a few people joining in there. So yeah, we can catch up there on the Discord link. It is saying invite invalid. You can just join the Discord link, Vinay. And I think that is working now. The other form might be failing. So, okay, we have a few people who have joined there. So let's talk there. All right, thank you so much. We'll do these sessions quite often, and me and Atul and the entire team will work on the planning, and then we hope to do this in a more organized manner so that people can actually focus. Like, we can just target like specific people who are just looking for jobs, or maybe who want to level up their React skills or JavaScript skills, and don't like noise up the entire Twitter feed, right? Okay. All right, Atul, anything else?
Great. No, that should be it. So we hope to do these sessions frequently,
Yeah.
and we would love to help people.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I
Thanks.
like
Bye
that.
bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye bye
Bye
everyone.
bye. Bye bye.
Cheers. Be
Cheers.
safe.